undefeated. Undefeated.
What up, everybody in the YTBC? Before I get started, just want to give a big shout out to hashtag Come Back to Boxing. I want to give a big shout out to Boxing United. Now today, I'm going to do my real review of the Joseph Parker versus Anthony Joshua fight. Now, when I say real review, I'm not saying that anybody else's review is fake, that the channel is fake, but I can only speak for me, myself, and and I'm going to give you the most real and unbiased review that I possibly can. Now, part of that is giving you some prerequisites as to my mindset going into this fight, or going into any fight when I do these reviews from here on out. So that would be the first thing that I cover. Then I'll let you know the things that I don't like, the things that I do like, and then finally, what I felt about the fight overall, given everything that I let you know. So let's go and get started. So first off, going into this fight, you should know that I am a Anthony Joshua fan. I expected Anthony Joshua to win by knockout between rounds 1 and 7 going into the fight. And you should know that I'm more of a legacy fan. That's the kind of fan that I am. I like more of the legacy. I'm not really impressed by the glitz and glamour. I'm more about the balls to the walls, no balls, no glory, that kind of thing. I could care less about the money. Now, don't get me wrong. I always want the fighters to make as much money as they possibly can. But when it comes down to negotiations and all that stuff, I typically don't care. I understand that there's an A side and a B side. Always expect for the A side to get more money, to get more of the terms. But at the end of the day, the fight itself is what I care most about. So, first, let me tell you about what I don't like about this fight. The pace of the fight was definitely a problem for me. I think that it was borderline boring. Now, some people would say, oh, it was absolutely boring. I've heard people say this is the worst heavyweight match in history. I don't agree with that. And I would probably say that those people were just detractors. There might be some who legitimately feel that way, but I think for the most part, if you watch this fight and you're a hardcore fan, you probably weren't disappointed with the fight. You just felt like the action just wasn't there as much as we especially expected. The next thing that I don't like, and this is going from what I like the least, or the thing that annoyed me the least to the thing that annoyed me the most about this fight. The next thing that I didn't like was the judges, their scoring. It was terrible. Now, normally this is something that I don't care about, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because you can make an argument that, judges are being paid off for Joshua. All right, and that's terrible because I don't think Joshua needs that. I think Joshua can win the fights on his own without any help from the judges, and those scorecards were way too wide. Now, to me, I still don't think it's that big of a deal because, those scores don't really have any effect other than you have a winner and a loser. But, I mean, it is important to note because any fighter in the future, they're going to expect that they're going to get robbed unless they knock Joshua out. I mean, that's how I would feel. And keep in mind, I am a Joshua fan, but I'm just calling it how I see it. I think that those scorecards were way too wide. It was a lot closer than they had it. But I still think they got it right as far as winner and loser. And then the number one thing that I hated about this fight, this was the worst, was the referee. That referee was terrible. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Every time the action started getting going, and this goes back to my first problem with this fight, is the pace, is that he ruined the pace a lot of the times. Now, I've heard some people say that, he only stopped the the action when give me a second, my phone just did something weird here. Anytime that Parker was getting anything off, that he was stopping the action. And I will give it to you, he did it more to Parker than he did to Joshua, but he did do it to Joshua as well. There was a couple times where Joshua got, turned up the gas, was catching Parker, and the ref came and stopped it. But like I said, I do think he did it a little bit more to Parker. Actually, I think he did a lot more to Parker, but he did do it to both of them. And that's why I think this fight ended up being borderline boring. I don't think it was exactly boring because it was more of a chess match. I've definitely seen a lot worse. As for, the worst heavyweight fight in history, no. I actually think that the Tyson Fury-Vladimir Klitschko fight was worse. And there was no referee intervention that caused that to happen. That was purely off of just the chemistry that was going on between Fury and Klitschko, or lack thereof. There was really no sparks in that fight. And that's just because I think Tyson Fury went in there. I mean, the number one goal is to win. It's not to make an exciting fight. You should try to, but if you are a professional fighter, the goal is to win. And if you disagree with that, then you definitely can't be a Floyd Mayweather fan. I'm not even a Floyd Mayweather fan, but I mean, if you disagree with that, then please don't defend Floyd, because you're just a hypocrite. But he did what he had to do to win. It made for a very boring fight, and I think that fight was way worse than this one. So, now what I did like about the fight is the few times that the referee didn't act like a dumbass and let them actually do what they came in that ring to do. It got pretty exciting. Far and few between, and in small spurts, but it got pretty exciting. There was times where, there was one time where Joshua literally ran from Parker. Now, I still think Joshua won the fight, but, that just goes to show you, Parker ain't no slouch. So, I mean, Parker is arguably the best opponent that Joshua has come up against. So it's not really a surprise that he didn't get knocked out by Anthony Joshua. In fact, I think this is just my own personal opinion, and what I think, this is my theory, is that the judges didn't expect to have to score this fight. They expected that, they would just give every round to Joshua till the knockout happened. And knockout didn't happen, so they started thinking backwards on what they were going to score each round. That's just what my theory is. I could be absolutely wrong, but it doesn't appear that they were watching the same fight everybody else was, because it was a lot closer. But congratulations to Anthony Joshua. There's always room for improvement. That goes for any fighter. That even goes for Floyd Mayweather, or went for Floyd Mayweather. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. Just because you got a perfect record don't mean that you yourself as a fighter are perfect. But anyways, that's my review. I think overall the fight was not a disappointment. I think that, it just went a different direction than what everybody really expected. And sometimes we overhype these fights in our own minds. We tend to magnify a lot of times. I think that's where a lot of this stuff really gets in our heads, is when we're a fan of a fighter and we interact with fans of opposing fighters. We tend to magnify what they're saying a whole lot. So that's just how I feel. I think that's why we have a lot of the issues that we have in this community. But I got much love for everybody. Tell me what you think about the fight. Feel free to leave a comment. Troll comments will be deleted. Trolls will be ignored. Just I'm getting too old for this shit. Anyways, to all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble on this video, hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.